Hello everyone, my name is Ummi Hanin from PBA01. I will explain all about Singapore, which include the background country, cultural orientation, the do's and don'ts, verbal and non-verbal communication, and things you need to know before go. So without any further ado, let's get to the topic. Singapore is an island city-state located off the coast of Malaysia. It is a very small country only measuring 26 km north to south and 50 km east to west. Yet it houses over 5 billion people. This makes it the second most densely populated sovereign state in the world. Singapore served as a central point of trade between the east and west in the 19th century, coming under British colonial rule in 1826 until 1963. Today it is independent of Britain and Malaysia. However, the influence of its past British governance means that it is one of the most westernized countries in Asia. Lifestyles are quite cosmopolitan and English, also referred to as adapted Singlish, is the common language spoken among all ethnicities. Singapore's economic positioning is one of the four Asian dragons of the global economy, has also made it a big expatriate hotspot. There are so many foreigners in Singapore that only about 60% of the population has citizenship. The permanent citizens of Singapore are also diverse. While 74.2% are Chinese Singaporeans, there are also a large population of Malay, Indians, Eurasians, and Westerners. These different ethnic groups maintain the language, histories, traditions, and religions that pertain specifically to them. Greetings. A handshake generally suffices the appropriate greeting between two people. A Singaporean handshake may be quite light and held for a longer duration. However, Malay or Indian Singaporeans may not wish to shake hands with the opposite gender. Basic etiquette. 1. It is expected that the elderly are treated with respect. However, people may ignore the age hierarchy when someone particularly powerful is present. 2. Spitting or littering in public is both frowned upon and illegal. 3. It is common for Singaporeans to reserve their seats in a public setting by placing a packet of tissues or their umbrella on the seat. 4. Public displays of affection between couples is generally considered inappropriate. 5. Punctuality is essential in Singapore. Being late shows a lack of respect for the person who is kept waiting. Visiting. 1. It is common for people to remove their shoes when entering someone's home. 2. Punctuality is important to Singaporeans, and it is considered polite to call a host in advance if one is running late. Eating. 1. Food is usually placed on the table with all dishes served at once and shared among everyone. 2. It is the proper practice to begin eating only once the host has invited the guest to do so. 3. A gentle burp is considered to be a sign of appreciation of good food. 4. To leave a small amount of food on your plate indicated that you are full and were satisfied by the meal. To empty your plate entirely suggests the host did not provide enough food. Gift. 1. Both hands are used to give and receive a gift. 2. Gift-giving etiquette of ethnic Malays typically relate to Islam. Gifts that include alcohol or pork should not be given, and present of food must meet halal standards. 3. For Chinese Singaporeans, a person might decline receiving a gift 2 or 3 times out of politeness before accepting. Gift or wrapping of red and gold is admired and appreciated. 4. For Indians or Hindu Singaporeans, wrapping should be in bright colors such as red, yellow, and green. Leather products and alcohol should not be given. The dose. 1. Present yourself in a clean and well-dressed manner and make sure to tidy up after yourself. Be mindful of the mess or disorganization you may have left in the room. 2. Make an effort to keep discussion harmonious and balanced. Avoid dominating conversation and allow space for others to speak up. 3. Express flattery when it is due, as this will give face. However, always do so with sincerity or the person may lose face instead. 4. It is important to ask questions in several ways in order to have a sure understanding of a vague response. 5. Always demonstrate patience, calmness, and politeness. The don'ts. 1. Avoid asking Russians about their racial makeup as they may find this insensitive. 2. Avoid directly criticizing someone, pointing out their mistakes, or giving insincere compliments as those are elections that cause a Singaporean to lose face. 3. Avoid publicly displaying signs of anger, raising your voice, or shouting as this will cause you to lose face in a Singaporean's eyes. 4. Try to abstain from interrupting or filling in the silence during conversation. Indirect communication. As an extension of the need to maintain harmonious relations, the Singaporean people rely heavily on indirect communication. They rely less on words and are more attentive to posture, expression, and tone of voice to draw meaning. Speech is ambiguous as they may often understand their point. Refusals. A Singaporean person's preoccupation with saving face and politeness mean they will seldom give a direct no or negative response, even when they do not agree with you. Therefore, focus on hints of hesitation. Listen closely to what they say and double-check your understanding by asking for their opinion. Though they may not willingly speak up to contest an idea, they generally give their honest opinion when invited to do so. Voice. Speaking loudly can be seen as rude and overbearing in Singapore. Pointing. Pointing with the index finger is considered to be rude. Rather, people point by using their whole hand or nod their head in the intended direction. Body language. It is common for Singaporeans to nod a lot during interactions. However, the body language is generally quite modest, with gestures being infrequent and restrained. Physical contact. Singaporeans are generally less accustomed to receiving a lot of physical affection from strangers and tend to reserve touching such as back slapping, hugging, and holding hands for close friends. Public displays of affection amongst couples are not always appreciated. Eye contact. Eye contact shows confidence and attentiveness in most scenarios. Holding eye contact for too long can be interpreted as impolite or challenging. Silence. Silence is an important and purposeful tool used in ASEAN communication. Pausing before giving a response indicates that someone has applied appropriate thought and consideration to the question. It reflects politeness and respect. Head. It is considered disrespectful and offensive to touch someone's head. Singapore is safe. Visiting Singapore is not only easy but also very safe. Like walking back home at 4 a.m. on your own down a dark and quiet street is safe. It's one of the safest places in the world for solo or group travelers. Singapore isn't cheap. One thing you'll notice when visiting Singapore is how much more expensive it is compared with other areas in Asia. The city-state apparently has the most millionaires in the world, so perhaps this isn't much of a surprise, but Singapore easily outranks renowned expensive cities like London and New York when it comes to prices. Singapore has cheap food. For how expensive Singapore is, it also has really cheap food, which, let's be honest, it's perfect when visiting Singapore. The food, of course, is at the hawker centers, not the expensive restaurants or shops in the malls. Local Singaporeans eat at these hawker centers, so it's also a great way to meet some Singaporeans. Singapore is a very multicultural city. One thing you'll notice when visiting Singapore is its multiculturalism. The mix of expats and locals creates for such a vibrant fusion of different cultures, food, and experience to be had in the city. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoy and like it, and bye bye. See you next time. Have a nice day, everyone.